Suggestion for specific to cop related shootings that I think would probably, I guarantee it would reduce the number of shootings that happened. Just like in England, guilty until proven innocent. In any cop related shooting, you are assumed guilty as the cop until you prove that it was a just shot.
So, because you're in that role.
So
in that role.
Pension done.
Pension. Freedom. If found guilty.
Paycheck cut off. Family gets nothing.
Done deal. You are a criminal.
Right.
Until you prove that this was a just shooting. Mm-hmm. As opposed to what we have now, where I'm telling you, I watched that video probably like fucking, and maybe that's why I feel the way I feel. And it's like, to your point, Dave, I wish I had that. Like, I got King's disease when it comes to this shit because I punish myself by watching it like
right.
frame by frame.
A lot of people do. I think a lot of people do.
Yeah.
But
because you're trying to figure out what is the justification.
Yeah.
How
you do this?
I'm thinking, not even justification, just like, what else could we have done? There are 6 fucking officers here. There's one man in a white T-shirt walking.
If you was gonna do that,
there's nothing.
Why not just tackle the fucking guy to the ground?
And I mean, tackle him and beat him, nightstick him. I get all of that.
This is woven into the fabric of that culture. This is not.
But it exists because I'm gonna get off. I'm gonna say
because I'm a police officer.
And you know what? In social
how many
media,
videos have been out here right now.
I thought he was going into the car to get a gun.
No, I'm not a police officer. I'm a white police officer.
Yeah.
Because we don't see video after video of black cop killing white person.
And if white cops had that, release that shit.
Because a black cop knows I'm a black cop that kills a white man. I'm a nigga that shot a white person. Right? I'm going to be scrutinized differently than the way it is now. It's just like kind of accepted.
I was saying if there are videos of black cops shooting black people and you want to justify that, I'm not a racist. We just had a black cop shoot a black person.
But where they at?
That's what I'm saying. This is the time to release those shit.
Yeah, where they at? No.
I got a duffel bag. Here you go.
This is a reoccurring event. And I think that if you put that much accountability on cops, that, look, if you're involved in a shooting, especially a fatal shooting, we're going to assume it was not a just shooting. You will have the opportunity in court, like that is afforded to everyone else, that you get to fight your case, give all of the evidence that you have. You have body cams now. Yep. You know what I mean? You have very up close information and evidence where you can sit here and say, this man is wielding a knife. I was concerned for my life. I had no other option than to exercise lethal force. And jury of your peers. I don't care if it's police officers to start with as opposed to just citizens. Mm-hmm. But like that, like you said, that council of chiefs that review that and say, all right, well, based on the information, we say it's a clean shoot. Out of here. But while we don't have that, that video looked just like the Ahmaud Arbery. Mm. When they were riding in the truck, they hunted him down and shot him. You're just walking behind a person, waiting for them to give you this leverage. Just shooting. Get that leverage. That he opened the car door.
Didn't know what to do.
I didn't.
My life was in danger.
Forget the 17 steps he took before he got there. But when he opened the door, right? Good shoot, no?
Like, just imagine,
which is woven into the fabric, right? My life is in danger.
Just imagine all of us. Imagine who we were at 22, right? And I'm just going to use 22 as an age, but because I think you can be a cop younger than that.
I was laid up in the hospital getting 8 hours of sleep on morphine.
My fault.
I was on top of the world, baby.
Just the mentality that we were
on
in,
top of
the space
world.
we was in, right? And just we grew up in, most of us grew up in the quote unquote hood, or we grew up around people that looked just like us, and we experienced some things and we seen some things. But just imagine somebody that's 22 years old, whether black, white, Hispanic, whatever it is, that doesn't have that experience, that is able to go through a 6-month academy and to get a gun. And
the only thing you know is the rap music that Dave was talking about.
Right.
Fuck the police.
Word.
Right. Like, you have no other life experience. You have nothing other than what you've experienced in your life, but you have no other job, and now you're a cop.
Like, look at Pence. Pence is a great guy, but he was like, yeah, I had a Guatemalan friend growing up.
Yeah.
That's it. You know?
Right.
And he's a great guy, but imagine
At
the
22,
power-hungry 22-year-old that has no relationships outside of his own race and his own upbringing now has a gun.
And goes into a culture where not only do you have goes into a culture where it's accepted to use, you could say nigga when you're associating it to a particular set of individuals, right? And other black cops who are the minority in that culture are now have acceptance, and this is what I mean when you go into, because I've heard stories of going into the police force and now you're in a situation where you have these set of white cops calling a set of group of individuals niggas, and then you have black cops there, and you're a black cop that just got in, and you're trying to, and one of them is your lieutenant or whatever, your officer, and you're like, dog,
or even your partner. Like, you don't even got to be a superior officer. It's just like,
and he's like.
That's culture's trash. It's not even a shoot first, ask questions.
And then you're like, what the
fuck?
But then you go into a community, right? You go into a community that's not accepting of you because of what they've experienced, right? And so it's either they fear you or they just don't give a fuck about you.
I'm telling you, if you prosecuted them as guilty until proven
I like
innocent,
that.
If you prosecuted them like citizens would be prosecuted.
No.
I like that too.
Nah, I don't even. We're not gonna get.
We're not gonna get that.
We're not gonna get that. But
you can't even defund them. You can't even defund them. You think they're gonna get?
You won't even need to defund them now.
Do we think we're gonna get any reform?
Go
ahead. My bad.
Oh, I'm sorry. There'll be less cops. You'd have to come up with a way to police areas outside of police officers, because less people will sign up to be cops knowing that if I shoot a person, I'm going to jail until I can prove I shouldn't be in jail, versus if I shoot a person, I'm going to take a 6 months desk job. I'm going to be back on the force doing my thing. 20 years later, I'm going to put my knee in the back of George Floyd's neck. Fucking citation after citation after citation. No, you are guilty until proven innocent. You'll have less people sign up to be cops. You'll have less assholes, power hungry assholes, to be cops, because they know I'm not gonna risk my life for this shit. That's what I would do. That's what I would recommend we do right now. And if you're a good cop, if you're a great cop, you don't have a problem with that. If you're a great cop, you're not racist. You don't have any ulterior motives and none of that. You're like, no, look at my body cam. I can walk you through frame by frame where I was justified for using lethal force. And the fact that they didn't give this man just nothing other than that, it's fucking heartbreaking, bro.
What'd you think about the analysis that came out about allowing cops that once they join the academy to patrol that a particular community with no weapons aside from a call? They can call for help if they needed help or whatever, but they would have to patrol that community for 12 months.
And so that was brought up in a conversation I was in, that a cop doesn't get a gun until a certain period of time. Like a community service.
You serve your community service, and then after that community service, then
it's almost like
you still don't get a gun.
A residency, right? Like doctors have to do residencies.
Right.
It's almost like a cop doing the same thing.
Do I get a taser?
You don't get a taser. You don't get a taser. I think at most, even after you do that community service, I think at most, the idea is to get rid of cops with guns and only have cops that have guns when the situation is dire.
Right.
So the community will be policed by a community police. And that community police may have some authority of some sort, but it won't be with lethal force. It would be with maybe like a nightstick or to your point, a taser, right? You have the chance to stop the situation and call for help, but you may not have a chance if you're in it.
Like all security guards don't have guns, and security guards are put in some certain situations where it's like, oh shit.
But when you say police the neighborhood, are you saying like, I'm just on the beat, I'm walking, and should I encounter some illegal activity, then I will approach it, but versus like getting called to a scene? Like if I get called to a scene, domestic violence, potential for weapon,
I wouldn't send that.
I'm
officer.
not walking there.
I'm not sending that officer.
No.
Yeah. That's when you send. That's when you send the train.
It's almost like,
right?
It's like London.
What you have right now is
It's
block.
like London.
You have block advocates,
And what you're sending is you're sending the trained officer that that
Right.
community advocate before in the past.
We're just talking about the UK right now.
So now he's coming in with the gun.
You have block advocates.
Yeah, that's true, but this is the UK.
Right.
Oh, is that what they do?
They don't walk around with guns.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
They have a tactical force that will come
Yep.
in with weaponry
Right.
and this, that, and the third. Detectives that have gun licenses, but the patrolmen, they don't have guns.
Because what you would have to do is establish a culture of that, right?
Right.
And America just doesn't have that culture
And-
because
and
what's
that-
ingrained in American culture is where
Guns.
we're at now. Yeah.
And that's the biggest
punishment.
issue right now. One,
Fear and punishment.
you can't have a gun in London, or in the UK. So because firearms are illegal, there's this safety
okay.
net of, the cops are going to be out there, and most likely they may run into a bat or a knife, but they shouldn't run into guns, because if they run into a gun, you get life in jail.
Yeah.
As to our fucking
It's in the amendments.
semi-automatic.
It's in the Constitution.
Good luck going.
yeah,
Good luck
this is
going to
gonna be-
Oklahoma, dog.
Yeah, there's going to be guns
Taking
everywhere
some
here.
guns.
And I also think that we've already slapped the hornet nest, right? The murder hornet nest, where you probably shouldn't send unarmed cops around largely populated black and brown communities today. You probably shouldn't do that. Like,
Shouldn't you?
nah.
Isn't this a great
Nah.
time to start?
but
Because now you're asking me to be forgiving, compassionate again. And no.
I'm just trying to. I'm not asking, and that's the thing is that I don't think police officers should be asking anything. That's not what they're. That's never been what they've been there to do. They shouldn't be asking anything. They should be there to monitor and ensure that the community is safe and build
Should be.
relationships.
But they've already
And if they
demonstrated
can't-
time after
they
time
fucked
after time.
up.
And they can't.
They fucked
So
up.
now it's like,
But now you got to show and prove, right? It's not gonna be easy for these motherfuckers.
I like.
But they made that.
I
They
like-
made that choice.
I like my guilty to innocent prove it before, because I can't see a cop be like, "Well, I don't get no gun till when? I'm going to Bed-Stuy. Oh, all right. Well, not Bed-Stuy's nice now, but like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm going where?
But
I don't get no gun
if
till
you
when?
look at the,
But I can see a bub going to Providence and being like, "All right, I'll do it."
but you got the communities.
What's that
where
pay rate?
The communities of
38
color,
grand?
the violence, the gun violence that happens in those communities is very isolated.
Yep.
And it's very targeted and it's very specific towards us.
Yeah.
Nobody, and I had this conversation years ago where we had AmeriCorps, and it was a young white woman, and she was told never to walk through the south side of Chicago. And there was one of my former coworkers, is from the south side of Chicago, black man, and was like, you would be safe.
Don't nobody give a fuck about you.
Nobody's shooting you because we know the ramifications that come with that. Shoot you, a white person, and a white woman.
Yeah, it's a problem.
Cops is all over that shit. Somebody's going to jail.
You getting charged bad for business.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
It shuts the block down. We can't hustle out here, right? Like, because cops are going to be here all month until they figure out.
We got to give somebody up.
Right. And so, and she was like, well, but I'm not telling you not to fear for your life. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that the violence is not targeted towards white people in black communities.
It's funny
Black
that
and
you
brown
bring that up,
communities.
though, because that is the Republican National Convention slogan. Fear.
Yeah.
They are pushing.
They're
that.
going to come to your suburbs.
Always.
They're going to.
I told you I've gotten calls from the east side, the suburban side of east side. Hey, we heard that, there was a string of shootings on Doyle Avenue in Providence. I'm just wondering if that's going to come towards my neighborhood. You have no worries. No.
There'll be no police.
Like the Tasmanian devil.
Yeah.
It's just going
It's just hitting everywhere.
Is that what they think it is?
This is a girl that we went to school with, and
And I think that's just being uninformed about how the violence
no,
happens.
I think that's being manipulated by the fucking media because,
True. Yep. Yeah.
What's her name? Oh God, I don't even want to say her name, but she went to college with us, white woman. George Floyd protests, some of the rioting that breaks out. She's like, I can't sleep at night, and I have to sleep with a bat in my bed because I'm scared someone's gonna break into my house. And what the fuck are you talking about? Who's ever broken into your house? Ever? Are there protests and riots by your house? No. What the fuck are you talking about?
What are you talking about?
just niggas just running around now kicking doors in. That's what we
Social
doing.
media, yeah. Social media
Yeah.
does it to you, man. You start believing what the fuck is out there.
And well, RNC, this is what we're pushing right now. Is that like, yo, if you do this, if you elect Biden, you won't have
trying
police.
to push him as a socialist.
Yep, he's a socialist. You won't have police. You'll have no immigration control. Bad people are moving into your suburbs.
Now that you mentioned immigration control, and I don't want to steer you
No,
away
you
from
good.
this, but has anybody asked what happened to those babies that were taken away from their moms, parents?
The ones wrapped in aluminum foil. Yeah.
All right, continue.
Yeah. Right.
There's a pedophile ring happening. Okay, all right, continue.
Yeah, it happens. But yeah, no, it's
Yep.
so that's the move right now. It's weird that people think that. Like, I know I've been in places where violence has been a theme, but I've never felt involved in it.
Right.
And I got randomly shot in my neighborhood in Staten Island. But I was comfortable out there because I'm not involved in the shit. And the niggas that were involved in the shit knew who I was, and they were like, yo, no, that's Reem right
So
there.
there's,
He's good.
there's and the same for me, right? Just being around individuals I know I could be shot around. I still wasn't like, hey, let me get up out of here. But I also could feel when something bad is gonna happen. It's
Right.
like when Nas, when AZ hit Nas and Belly, yo, I'm about to blow, dog.
Baby and shit. Oh, I'm a-
It got up. And so I can recognize those situations, but like you, right? It's not right that you became a victim of violence, but I know I put myself in positions where I could have been.
Yeah, it's home. But that's home though.
But but I'm also like, nah, I'm good. I'm
just-
Bub. I ain't never been. And this is before Bub, the community activist or community leader. But I always felt like, nah, niggas fuck with me.
Right.
I want to just
It's me.
dispel
Yeah, it's
this
me.
this notion that like people of color are these naturally violent, aggressive people. And it's just, and that is being spewed by the actual aggressive, violent people.
Yeah.
Where it's just like, for everything that you've seen right now, I don't give a fuck about the buildings that they're burning. I don't give a shit about the precinct that they burnt.